This is the Y'all Show with your host, Jon Rawl. We are at Country Radio Seminar number 50 in Nashville, Tennessee. And the next fellow we got here dropping by on the Y'all Show, well, I don't know if we could find a better album name for Shane Owens. It's called It's a Southern Thing, and I hope you're a Southern thing.
Man, I'm about as Southern you get.
All right, let's prove it. I know you're from Alabama.
I'm from lower Alabama. Well, tell everybody I'm from L.A.
Okay, we'll go up to Sand Mountain, and they may disagree.
I hear you.
What part of Alabama?
Lower
LA?
South Samson, Alabama. It's between. I can be in Dothan, Alabama, in about 40 minutes.
The Wiregrass, yes.
Or I can have my feet in the Panama City Beach sand in about 45 minutes.
Ooh.
So I'm straddling the Florida-Bama line, but we are.
Well, how close are you to the Florida line?
About 3 miles from the Florida line. We farm and hunt.
I love to know my geography. And is there any reason I would have come through your town, Samson?
You wouldn't have come through Samson.
I know where Enterprise is.
Enterprise. I married a girl from Enterprise.
Oh, gosh. A very enterprising young man.
Yeah.
And you got
to just do what I'm told.
Yeah,
man.
Boaz is down there, too.
Boaz?
What's your connection to Boaz from where you're going?
I've been.
Is that east or west?
That's west.
So you're toward the Georgia line.
Georgia line.
Okay. Yeah. You're not far from, I guess, Marianna, Florida?
Marianna, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, we got lucky. That storm come through there, not too long ago. We got
a lot of peanut crops in that part of Alabama.
Peanut and cattle.
Peanut, cattle, and country music.
That's right.
Well, we're glad you could stop by. We're visiting with Shane to learn more about your career. You had a great honor last year. Music Row magazine named you the top independent artist.
Yes, we won Independent Artist of the Year. I've been blessed to play the Opry twice. I got to work with one of my heroes. Randy Travis was the executive producer on my record. And, we just we're keeping traditional country music alive. I think there's millions of fans out there that want to hear that traditional sound still. And, we just...
I'm raising my hand. I'm one of them.
We're just...
Thank God for Shane.
Hey, we're just keeping it country, man.
Hey, that's what we like. Frankly, let's just be honest here on the Y'all Show. We love our South. We love our Southern music. And some of this country music that comes out of this town these days, I'm not sure is really country. But they said the same thing 30 years ago and 40 years ago. But luckily, there's heroes like Shane that come swooping in and save the day.
Well, I had a lot of heroes. I was a big fan of George Jones and Haggard, and Alan Jackson and George Strait. Absolutely Randy Travis. But Keith Whitley was my all-time favorite, and I think you can hear some of those influences in my music.
Good. You mentioned Randy Travis was your executive producer. How's he doing?
He's doing well. Everybody knows Randy suffered a major stroke, and I think everybody has lifted him up in prayer, and the good Lord has seen fit for him to stay around for a reason, man. He's one of the country music best. Great to call him a friend. Country Music Hall of Famer, and one of the best voices in country music to this day, and he's just a great guy, man.
Well, there's only one artist that I remember back in the 90s that Randy Travis even kind of affiliated with and was sort of a tutor for, and that was Daryl Singletary.
Yeah.
And, of course, we lost Daryl last year unexpectedly, so hopefully Randy's touch with you will be just as good as far as making music and all that. You've got a song out called Let's Try 'Em On. Let's talk about that. What was the genesis behind that?
A good friend of mine wrote this song. We do a lot of writing together, Galen Griffin. He's one of the best songwriters in town, and it's one of those songs I'll tell everybody, man, I could have. Why didn't I think of that?
Why didn't
I think of that? It just pays great homage and respect to people like Randy Travis and George Jones and Haggard and Vern Gosdin. There's so many people that have paved the way for artists like me.
I know where that song title came from. It came from Alan Jackson's album. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like, who's going to fill your shoes? I don't know if I'm going to fill them, but I'd sure like to try them on.
That's right.
I'm pretty good. I'm not very good.
We may want you to sing on the next record.
Well, I'm more of a talker than a singer, but I should be a singer. I have performed on the Grand Ole Opry before. Nobody was in the audience, but I was there. But, yeah, Shane, it's great to talk to you. Let's discuss this album that's called It's a Southern Thing. Why that name?
It just fits me. I'm from the South, grew up in the South, farming peanuts and cattle and hunting deer, fishing right there on the Choctahatchee River. It don't get no more country than that, or southern than that. And Greg Barnhill wrote that song. It was a smash. Tim McGraw had it on hold, and I joke about it. And I tell Tim, look, you've had enough hits, man. Give us a break. Let us have one. And I think the title cut, it may be a hit as well, but I just love traditional country music, and that song is one of those songs that it's almost like it was written for me to sing.
would you be offended if we played it right here on the Y'all Show?
I would be absolutely grateful if you played it here.
All right, here's Shane Owens. It's a Southern Thing on the Y'all Show. And that was the song, I guess, the title track.
It's a Southern Thing.
It's a Southern Thing, and that's Ching. But if y'all say it thing, that's okay too. We're visiting with Shane Owens, and your label is what?
Merrimont Records.
Merrimont Records. And again, you were named in 2018 the Music Row Independent Artist of the Year. What a great honor. There's a lot of independent artists.
Yeah, we were so blessed and honored to win that award. And, I was at the CRS award show today, and it's just I tell everybody that was a moment. I didn't know anything about it. It was a surprise, and it was a great award to win. And I consider myself very, very, just I'm so humbled, man, that people believe in what you do and the project and the music we're putting out. And those guys over there at Music Row, they're a fine bunch of folks, and they believe in what we're doing. And it was great to win that.
What's your tour schedule?
Well, the new single is taking off, so we're filling up the calendar pretty fast. It's funny. You have some downtime off through the holidays, and you put a new single out. Some people wait till the spring. We got this single out early enough to start getting a lot of attention on radio. We're already hitting Music Row with this one. I think we debuted at number 70-something, and we're already up to 59 in less than 2 weeks, so it's climbing the charts. Everybody's believing in it. We want to thank everybody at radio and guys like you that believe, and the new single is going to take off, and hopefully we'll fill that calendar up.
So you anticipate touring a lot, like in the summer months, going to festivals and things like that?
Yeah, we toured quite a bit last year. I was fortunate enough to be out with Toby Keith and his gang some, and I done a lot of headlining last year, which was great, and it's always good to be able to do that. But we're still go out on the road with some of the bigger acts in Nashville that have paved the way.
So you're not having to fall back on another career at this point. If you did,
not at this point, but I'm this is one of those businesses you can be on top of the world on 1 week and then flat on the seat of your britches, as my grandma would say, the next week. So we just
what's her name?
Edna.
She's still with us?
No, she's not. She's no longer with us. She's up there in heaven baking somebody up.
What did you call her?
I called her Mama.
Mama?
Called her Mama.
All right, well, that's
she's
great.
Probably up there in heaven baking somebody a red velvet cake right now, and I'm jealous.
Well, she's got one on hold for you.
That's right, man.
If you show up there, hopefully you don't go the other direction.
I don't want to go there, man. I'm heaven bound, brother.
Hey, I like that. Shane, let's talk a little bit about what artists like you, who this is not your first go around. You've been doing this for a number of years now. What is it in 2019 that you can do to maybe break through a little bit more? What's the key?
Well, it's all like I was telling you a while ago. We believe in traditional country music, and thousands of fans out there are starving for it. We see it, and we're keeping it alive. I'm going to do all I can to keep country music in good hands. And we've had people like Randy Travis and John Anderson. I recut one of his songs on the first record called Chicken Truck. He had a big hit in 1981. You got people like that are legends in the business that believe in what you're doing. And, Randy said in a quote one time, he gladly passed the baton to me. That's a lot of pressure, man. So I've got to step up to the plate and keep it traditional for just more for everybody out there that loves traditional country music. I think 2019 could be a great year.
Well, I was amazed, and I'm sure you know this, being on the front lines of singing, but at recent performances in college towns across the South, at least, the two acts that make the most amount of money in these college towns are rappers. You want to go ahead and try your hand at rapping?
Man, I don't know if I can rap. The closest thing we get to rapping anything in my house is wrapping a piece of leftover deer meat up in some tinfoil to the next day. So that'd be my rapping.
That's a Southern thing right there
from
Shane Owens. All right, so if you're not rapping and if you want to make money in today's college towns, they love traditional country music acts. You probably know this.
Man, they love the Bo Cephas.
The young kids love it.
Yeah, they love it, man. That's what I'm saying. Even this younger generation, I have a 14-year-old son, and he's just loving Alan Jackson and George Strait, man. He's even listening to Keith Whitley and so many artists that I grew up listening to. I find myself thinking, wow, man, this is cool for my 14-year-old son. And all their they're got so much access to so much music and like you said, different genres of music. For him to be concentrating on people like Keith Whitley and George Jones, and that's just awesome, man.
Well, I think you may agree with this statement. God bless you, Shane. I hope you have great hit songs and all that. But I think even you will admit, man, that stuff made back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, it's just not as the stuff today is just not as good.
It's just there's no comparison, man. Hands down. Like I said, Alan Jackson, George Strait, Randy Travis, the list goes on and on. It's kind of like, if you like 80s rock and roll, that was some of the best rock and roll ever made,
As evidenced by they play it every day.
I pay homage and tribute to people like Journey and Boston.
The sad part of country music, I was here in the 90s working at CMT and TNN. We used to have all these great artists come through our doors, like a Daryl Singletary, for example. And Daryl had some success, but my God, he wasn't selling 10 million albums like other acts. And so 25 years later, a lot of those acts that were so good and even got some airplay have essentially been forgotten.
Yeah.
And there's no country, at least terrestrial radio stations that play a lot of that music, unfortunately.
I was blessed to know Daryl and done several shows with him. One of the best country music voices of all time. And we pay tribute to Daryl in my live show to this day. We always do a song called The Old Violin, Johnny Paycheck.
Which is a great YouTube video of him playing that in Louisiana, the last performance he gave.
Daryl was a great country singer and a great friend. He'll always be remembered for sticking to his roots and singing traditional country music, and I respected him so much for that, and that's just, I'm just doing what I love to do, man. I'm doing what the good Lord blessed me to do, and that's all I can do.
We need Shane and all the other traditional country acts, and I think it's going to make a difference. Look, radio, and we're here at the Country Radio Seminar, and we want to promote country radio. Of course, we love our talk stations that carry this show as well, but we need people to tune into radio, period. And they're not going to tune in if they hear the same old stuff that's not even honestly country music.
That's true.
All right, that's my sermon for today. So if you weren't doing what you're doing, what would you likely be doing back in Samson, Alabama?
I would probably be fishing a bass tournament, a tournament fisherman, or maybe
that means you're a pretty good fisherman.
Guide. Yeah, I love hunting and fishing, man.
You must be pretty good at it.
Yeah, we harvest a lot of deer every year. We do our own processing and everything else.
Do you have any sponsors?
We've got a couple back in Dothan, Alabama.
Okay.
We make our own sausage, our own Salisbury steak, deer burger. And we do a little bit of everything.
What makes your deer burger so special compared to everything else?
Man, if I tell you, I have to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of those things.
I'll take your word for it.
It's one of the ancient Chinese
we're trying to get
secret.
I'm the Barbara Walters of the Country Radio Seminar. I want you to start crying at some point over here. That hadn't happened yet. All right, so you're evidently an avid outdoorsman.
Avid outdoorsman. Yeah, I love to hunt and fish, and hunting, fishing, farming, and country music. It don't get any better than that, man.
Good God. Let's just end this interview right now. Now, where you are, you talk about being an outdoorsman. I know a guy who went to a hunt somewhere in lower Alabama, not far from you. Y'all got a bunch of big alligators around there.
Yeah, we've got some gators. You have to be careful.
Do you hunt those at all?
We've killed a few.
Okay. Well, my friend thought he'd killed a huge gator, and he and his buddies decided to get drunk and have a good time that night after they slaughtered the gator. They went outside with a couple of beers in them, took pictures hanging around the gator, raised the gator's mouth up, showing its teeth, stuck their head in the gator, having a good time, continued to drink, passed out, went outside the next morning, and the gator wasn't there.
Yeah.
That gator had not died.
There's a certain kill spot, guys, if you don't know where it's at.
They didn't find it, and they were posing with a live gator and didn't even know it.
They were lucky.
They were very lucky. Yeah. So hopefully you weren't in that same photo. It was somewhere there in lower Alabama. We appreciate you stopping by. And again, the album is called It's a Southern Thing. It's Shane Owens, Sanford, Alabama's maybe the greatest singer from Sanford.
Man, I think I'm the only one. We've got 1,200 people there, and we're making them all proud.
All right. Well, I know there's a lot of good music comes out of the heart of Dixie, and we're just glad that you have stopped out here at the Yall Show. The Yall Show with Jon Rawl will return after this break. Thanks for listening.